Hello and welcome back, MTG Burgeoning community. It's Friday, so that means it's time for another Kitchen Table Series deck tech. And we are up to deck tech number 27. And in today's video, Mono-Blue Merfolk. Hello, welcome back everybody. Welcome back MTG Burgeoning fans. It is back, the Kitchen Table Series, our longest running series on the channel, continues with deck tech number 27. We rebooted the series last week when we talked about Mono White Angels, and in today's video, we are talking about Mono Blue Merfolk. Here we go. Merfolk, I'll tell you, back when I first got into Magic, Merfolk was the very first tribal deck I ever constructed. Mono-Blue Merfolk. So we are going to take a trip back in time, and we are going to look at some old Merfolk, baby. So, as is customary, usually with our kitchen table deck techs, we're going to begin with the mana base. And there's not going to be a lot of variance here, folks. In fact, I'm going to sum it up for you in about 2 words. 18 islands. That is the mana base for this deck. 18 islands. Just 18 basic islands, that's all. Very simple mana base to get things started. Now is where we start getting into the beef, baby. We are going to just go right after all of our lords. Merfolk, I'll tell you, they got some lords. They definitely are not lacking in the lord material. And the very first lord, if you are a fan of Merfolk, you know that the very first lord is the Lord of Atlantis. Double blue, all Merfolk in play gain Island Walk and +1/+1 while this card is in play. 4 Lords of Atlantis. That starts our Merfolk excursion. Next Lord up, one that was printed in, let's see, Core Set 2013. That is going to be the Master of Pearl Trident. Double blue, other Merfolk creatures we control get +1/+1 and have Island Walk. It's a 2/2 body. It's pretty much another Lord of Atlantis. 4 copies of the Master of Pearl Trident. Next Lord, oh yeah, that's right folks, next Lord. All these guys are going to be lords. We have a playset of the Merfolk Sovereign. Now, unfortunately, they're no longer CMC of 2. Now we're graduating up. There can only be so many CMC 2 lords for the Merfolk. Having at least 8 of them, it's pretty good to start. So the Merfolk Sovereign, 1 and 2 blue for a 2/2 body. Other Merfolk creatures we control get +1/+1. And we can turn this guy sideways to make target Merfolk creature unblockable for a turn. 1 playset of Merfolk Sovereign. Next Lord, that's right, another Lord, folks. We have a playset of the Mirrodin, going back to the days of Lorwyn. 2 and a blue for another 2/2 body. Other Merfolk creatures we control get +1/+1, and whenever we cast a Merfolk spell, we may tap or untap target permanent. 4 copies, Mirrodin. How can we squeeze any more lords into this deck? Well, we can include 2 copies of Phantasmal Image. It's 1 in a blue, and it enters the battlefield. We may have it enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's an illusion in addition to its other types, and it gains when this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability. We sacrifice it. 2 copies going in, only because I don't have 4. So there we have definitely 16 lords with the potential for 2 more by casting Phantasmal Images. These lords by themselves are enough to win the game for us, but let's take a look at some of the other Merfolk we're going to include. Turn 1 casting of a Merfolk. We have a playset of Triton Shorestalker. 1 blue for a 1/1. Can't be blocked. It's a great way to have Island Walk without our opponents having islands and not having Island Walk. 4 copies of the Triton Shorestalker. And probably the best turn 1 Merfolk we could play for just 1 blue, originally debuting in Shadowmoor. That's going to be a playset of Curse Catcher. For a blue, we can sacrifice Curse Catcher to counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 1 generic or colorless mana. 4 copies of Curse Catcher going right next to the 4 copies of the Triton Shorestalker. Next up, and this beauty is coming from Dominaria, we have a play set of the Merfolk Trickster. Double blue, it has flash and a 2/2 body, and when it enters the battlefield, we tap target creature an opponent controls, and it loses all abilities until end of turn. Offensive and defensive, 4 copies of the Merfolk Trickster. Merfolk Trickster is in play, and our next play set, another CMC of 2, is going to be a play set of full 4 copies of Silvergill Adept. 1 in a blue, it's a 2/1. As an additional cost to cast Silvergill Adept, we reveal a Merfolk card from our hand, or we pay 3. Here's a spoiler for you folks, we are never paying 3. And when it enters the battlefield, we draw a card. 4 copies, Silvergill Adept. And the last creature in this deck, another full playset, we have a CMC of 3, a Kopala Warden of Wave. Now it's a legendary, so you gotta be careful there. We're including 4 of, however, because of the defensive capabilities that this Merfolk gives our squad. 1 and 2 blue for a 2/2. Spells our opponents cast that target a Merfolk we control cost 2 more, and abilities our opponents activate that target a Merfolk we control cost 2 more. Adding 4 copies is justified because we want to protect all of our Merfolk, because this is a straight up blue Merfolk aggro deck. That's all, folks. There's only 1 more playset of spells in this entire deck, and they're not counter spells, and they're not bounce spells. They're just a way in which to get our squad to our opponent's life total as quickly as possible, and it's 4 copies of Spreading Seas. It's a 1 in a blue and an enchants a land. When Spreading Seas enters the battlefield, we draw a card, so what's wonderful, it replaces itself. An enchanted land is an island, which makes all of our island walkers swimming right over to our opponent's life dice. 4 copies of Spreading Seas. Like I said, folks, there are no counter spells, there's no bounce spells, there's no disruption, there's no interaction aside from the Spreading Seas. This is a straight Merfolk aggro deck. Let's take it for a spin. All right, MTG Burgeoning fans. So like I said, we are taking a trip back in time here, because Merfolk was the very first tribal deck I made, and one of the very first decks overall that I made when I first entered into the community. The very first deck I ever made was the Black-Red Fiery Doom, and then a White-Blue Phase Wrath deck. And then it was about that time that I graduated to Merfolk and then Slivers. So we're going back in time here, and I know a lot of the Merfolk that were first in that deck have since been replaced, because when you just get more and more Lords, you just want to play the Lords. I mean, that's what we're doing right here. And so far, these Merfolk have withstood the test of time. And we're going to showcase their aggro ability, and even then, look at that. The blue die that I would use, 2 of those 10-siders when I would play my tribal Merfolk. 4, 5, 6, 7. Nostalgia is ensuing all over the place here on the kitchen table series. All right, we got a rejury. Oh, that 2 Lords. Just give us at least 2 islands. Oh, it's not looking good. Oh, it's looking terrible, actually. Oh, 1 island. Oh, I really don't want to keep this hand. All right, we have nothing to play in turn 1. All right, let's be the bad Magic player, and let's keep this opening hand and see what we can do. All right, bad choice. Turn 1, give us the island. Whoops, turn 1. Oh, no. There's turn 1. Turn 2, give us the island. Oh, no, we made a bad choice. We discard. Oh, we discard the Sovereign. Should have mulliganed. Bad choice. Oh, Trickster, gone. We're getting stomped. Oh, should have mulliganed. Let's shuffle this bad boy up again. With so few spells in this deck that cost a great deal of mana, I mean, nothing's over 3, and so many are 1 and 2. I mean, it warrants bringing down the land total to get some more spells in there. And running 18 lands is not out of the realm of normalcy for a deck like that. Nothing costs more than 3 CMC, and even the 3 CMC spells are not very plentiful. If we can open up our hand with at least 2 lands, we know we've got it. Should have mulliganed that first one. Oh well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, here we go. Aggro Merfolk. We got this time. We got it this time. There's our island. Oh, now we're set. Now we'll draw nothing but islands. Oh, turn 1 Curse Catcher. Oh, Phantasmal Image. The Trickster. Oh, I drew Weep. There we go. And another Curse Catcher. Oh, this is going to look pretty good. All right, give us the Lord. Oh, beautiful. Turn 1, cast a Curse Catcher. We got some protection. Turn 2, we draw another land. Beautiful. I think this time what we do is let's put out another Curse Catcher just in case if our opponents are getting a little bit, you know, instant or sorcery removal spell happy. Triton Shorestalker is next. So turn 3, this is how we're going to work it. We're going to tap 1, cast the Shorestalker. We're going to tap 2 and cast a Lord of Atlantis. We've got some protection with the Curse Catchers. We swing in for 4. We untap. We move to turn 4. We draw a card. Oh, another Lord. That's beautiful. I think what we do is we just tap 2. We cast another Lord. We send in a huge squad. 3, 6, 9. We send in 12. All right, and then we untap. We move to turn 5. And if we're dueling, that's probably going to be game. Another Spreading Seas. So what we'll do is we'll just tap 2. We'll cast our Phantasmal Image, cloning, or not cloning, copying the Lord of Atlantis. And that's going to be that, folks. This is how the Mono-Blue Merfolk should work, not keeping a hand with only 1 land and hoping to get lucky. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. All right, folks, this is the Kitchen Table Series. This is MTG Burgeoning, and you are looking at deck tech number 27, Mono-Blue Merfolk. And may your turn 1 play always be something into a Soul Ring.